Hello and welcome to Kisa Design. Soon we will launch our Tragwerk T Signature Edition, a watch that incorporates many details of our custom watches that you guys love so much. It will have a sleek and modern look and be an ideal everyday companion. And the best part is, it will be directly available to order. In the last video, we shared our thoughts with you and gave you an insight into the decision-making process of our new version. It was all about our motivation, which got the project rolling, what we have learned from creating customizable watches for over 5 years, and what is important to us. If you haven't seen it yet, you should definitely check it out. In today's video, we want to get down to business and dive right into watchmaking. What sets us apart from many other watch companies is that we don't simply design our watches and have them built somewhere else. We actually make all our prototypes and each of our customers' watches in-house in our own workshop with only 2 people. We are Carolyn, the goldsmith, and me, Matthias Kieser, independent watchmaker from Germany. Of course, we can't show you the complete development and manufacturing process. That would simply take too long here. But if you're interested in a specific technique or component, let us know in the comments. We can go more into detail in a separate video. For today, however, Carolyn and I want to show you a compilation of selected steps it takes to create the new Tragwerk T Signature Edition. First, we will take you with us in our workshop and give you an insight in how the new titanium casebacks are milled and finished. Afterwards, you will see how we prepare the dials, and finally the vast amount of indices we have to manufacture individually. As I mentioned in part 1, there won't be a mass production at Kisa Design, but producing a mini-series of 25 watches presented us with completely new challenges. 25 watches with 12 indices each means we have to make 300 indices in total, by hand. A lot of fixtures and workflows had to be adapted to cope with the new requirements. So let's go to the workshop and build a brand new watch. Alright, here we are in the workshop right in front of the milling machine. And I promised to you that we're going to show to you how to manufacture some of the titanium parts that we use in our watches. Titanium is such a wonderful material, and I fell in love with it actually because it has so many nice attributes that are perfect for making watches out of it. It's a real challenge to machine it. You need super sharp and precise tools, but in the end it's absolutely worth it. It's a hypoallergenic material, it's super lightweight, it's super strong, so it's everything you can ask for in a material for watches. And in addition, you can anodize it in super nice and vibrant colors, as we've already shown in other videos. And I think titanium is such an interesting material that we need to cover it in a specific dedicated episode in one of our YouTube videos, where we can show you the whole process of how titanium is actually mined and how it's turned into sheet metal and all the wonderful properties and the history behind it. So if you like that, write in the comment section below. We have also covered titanium in one of our previous videos where I showed to you how I got delivered a new order of titanium and what kind of parts we make out of the different sheets. And here we have a 6mm sheet of solid titanium grade 5. So it's an alloy of titanium, vanadium and aluminum, and it makes the titanium super strong. So what we need to do first is drill some holes into the titanium so that we can put it on the machine and keep it tight. But I've already prepared that. Here you can see the 4 holes, and now we're going to put the titanium sheet on the machine. In the last few months I spent a lot of time on my computer working on the CNC programs to mill out all the different parts, all the different components for the watch, for the signature edition. And I already put them on the machine, so when we're done measuring in and diving in the sheets, then we can just hit the button and hope for the best. The first step is going to be to mill out the rough contours of the watch Casebacks, and once I checked all the measurements and everything is alright, then we can continue by putting the engravings on the back. And the engravings are really gonna be awesome on this watch, so stay tuned. For the signature edition, we decided to give it a closed caseback. So we wanted to have a very sleek, simplistic and modern design. And it feels almost like one of those field watches, which is very robust and the ideal companion for everyday life. In addition, it gives us the opportunity to put a very nice engraving on the caseback. We will come to that part in a second. As the green light indicates, the program is finished and the milling process is completed now. So we need to inspect the parts, measure all the vital diameters and stuff, and then we continue the whole manufacturing. I checked all the important measurements and they are well within tolerance. So that means we can continue with the next step. The following thing we need to do is to engrave the casebacks. And for that we use a tiny 0.1mm tip carbide engraver. I'm going to put it in the machine and start the program. Now the engraving is done and it turned out really nice. But now the real work begins. The machine did all the roughing out, but now it's good old craftsmanship. First, this is what the sheet metal looks like now. We have 9 different casebacks with the engravings already on them. Now we take the jeweler saw and we cut out all the casebacks one by one to continue working on them. This is what the empty leftovers look like after we cut out all the 9 different casebacks. The casebacks are then machined from the other side and put on the watchmaker's lathe, and they are then ground to a very fine finish to be able to sandblast and bead blast them afterwards. And that gives them this very subtle and very nice deep gray finish. And to put more contrast on the engraving and to really make the dragonfly pop out a little more, after the bead blasting we do one more go of sanding, so we have 2 different surfaces in perfect contrast. I found inspiration for the Tragwerk T in nature. As I already told you in a previous video, I often use the concepts of bionics in my watch designs, which means taking solutions from nature and adapting them for the engineering world. For instance, the titanium exoskeleton of the Tragwerk T protects the inner case from bumps and scratches while maintaining a lightweight construction. Just like the Dragonfly, which has a rigid exoskeleton to protect its organs. No wonder we made the Dragonfly our mascot and gave it a special place on the back of our signature edition. It hovers over a hexagonal pattern which represents the fascinating compound eyes of the insect. Of course, the back of the watch is not the only component we need to prepare. We work on many different parts in parallel, and while we are still milling one element, another one is already being finished at the workbench. When it comes to the dials, most of the work takes place after we milled out the dial blanks with tiny feet from a solid 3mm titanium sheet. Straight from the machine, the raw pieces are still twisted and deformed. So the first step is straightening. Carolyn uses the sanding paper to highlight areas which still need to be evened out. We use various punches and pliers for this, as well as tools we have made ourselves. Once the entire surface is flat, each dial is given a fine pre-sanding. It's important to take special care here to remove all deep scratches and to prepare the surface as finely as possible afterwards. Now it's time to drill the hole for the shaft. To prevent the thin dial from warping again, we drill the hole on the watchmaker's lathe where the workpiece will also remain for the final finish. Having tried out many different finishing styles, we finally decided to go for a nice circular grind. It shimmers wonderfully, especially in the sunlight. The next step is to anodize the dial and give it the purple color that we all love so much. We won't go into much detail on that for now, as it is very complex and time-consuming. But if you're interested in this topic, you should definitely take a look at our channel. We cover the topic in various videos. Anyway, here it is. What do you think? Isn't it incredible how the colored metal accentuates the finish? Well, we are definitely thrilled. Before we can attach the indices and the dial ring and everything else, we still need to print the dial. But that is something we will show you in another video. One of the most challenging parts we have to manufacture for the dial and, in fact, the whole watch are the indexes, or what they are also called, hour markers. The difficulty lies in their size, because they're tiny. The small indexes are only 2 millimeters wide. It took months to develop the whole process for making them. It all starts on the milling machine. A 0.5 millimeter thick sheet of titanium is placed on the machine table in a very specific way. If you don't know 100% what you're doing, the indexes won't be within tolerance, have crooked shapes or simply fly off the table and into the depths of the chip collector where they'll be lost forever. In fact, the process is so crucial that we won't show it here in detail because it's one of our best kept secrets. Now Carolyn's work starts. All those single parts you can see in this glass bottle need to get the perfect finish before we can put them on the dial. There are a lot of different steps necessary to get each part right. Carolyn starts by roughly deburring each index by running them over a piece of sanding paper with her finger. The tiniest marks that the end mill leaves on the metal surface are evened out. The indexes are then cleaned in the ultrasonic cleaner and checked for dimensional accuracy. And of course, not all of them make it into the next round. Some of them go straight to the metal scrap bin. All the remaining indexes that made it through the first of various quality inspections go through a meticulous process of grinding now. Carolyn uses increasingly fine lapping films to give them the straight grain, semi-glossy finish we're aiming for. Despite always looking for ways to make things go faster in the workshop, there are no shortcuts sometimes. We found that finishing each index individually by hand simply gives the best results, even if we have to repeat it 300 times to have enough indexes for 25 watches. It might sound a bit strange to people outside the trade, but hand finishing creates such a true connection to the piece you're working on. One improvement we're happy to have made is this brass tray, which holds many indexes at once. It's a good example of a tool or a fixture we needed to make, one of dozens for the production of a watch model. Tool making is a big part of watchmaking, in fact. Now there are two major steps that follow after this. The first is filling each index with superluminova under the microscope. A very delicate task which needs a lot of practice but has a very mesmerizing vibe to it. Seeing the parts glow in the dark is super nice. Then the only thing left to do after that is to apply the indexes that made it through the last quality inspection to the prepared dial. Then the dials are ready and waiting to be put in the Tragwerk T during final assembly. Let's summarize what we've done so far. In the last video, we talked about why we started to design a new titanium watch. We mentioned the feedback we gathered from our dear community and that we incorporated in the signature edition. Today you saw Carolyn and me actually make a few of the parts for the new Tragwerk T. Now you have an idea of how many countless steps are required, and we've only shown you a small portion of the manufacturing process. Besides the dials, the indexes and the casebacks, various other parts need to be milled and hand finished, like the rest of the case, the exoskeleton and the buckle. It's precisely because we carry out so many techniques ourselves in our own workshop that we are so proud of our watches. We love being craftsmen and craftswomen. Since we really make the watches and not just design them and have them made, we have a close connection to our timepieces. It's not just a product to us. It is something that we created with our own hands and of course with the help of tools and machines where necessary. What we are also very proud of is our patented design of the Tragwerk T. So of course the signature edition will feature our unique exoskeleton. We love the lightweight concept we will stick to it many years. However, we don't want to stand still. We want to keep developing with each new iteration, so we added plenty of novelties to the signature edition as well. One of that novelty I hold in my hand is the closed caseback of the watch. We hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the next one, where we're finally going to reveal the face of the watch, a very unique dial, and assemble the whole watch at the watchmaker's bench. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.